So, Tashi, we're very grateful to have you. You are with Crisis Center Birmingham, and we're just kind of interested to get a little bit more information about what services are offered and everything that you're doing. I know you specifically work a lot with U Talk, but we're just happy to hear anything that you have to share with us today.
Oh, cool, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This is awesome. I love exactly what you guys are doing. I love your motive. I love your goal here. I think it's so cool to continuously have like conversations about our mental health because that's how we work towards ending that stigma. So hope you guys can see me. I am working without a desk because I moved randomly, right? I just wanted to make the whole coronavirus thing a little bit better. So I moved a day or two ago. So I am working a little impromptu. So if I look a little shaky, that's what it is. So again, thank you so much for having me. Just like she said, my name is Tashi. I'm the Youth Services Coordinator for the Crisis Center. And I'll talk a little bit more about what the Crisis Center does in a moment. But basically, we're a nonprofit mental health organization. And it's our goal to assist those experiencing any kind of personal crisis. A crisis situation isn't the same for everybody. It can look like a number of different things from a range of different situations. So we provide free supportive services for whatever that crisis situation is. And I'll talk with you guys a little bit more about what that is in just a moment. So right now, one crisis situation that literally everyone is experiencing at the same time right now is a pandemic, right? It's pretty of a weird situation for, I think, just about anyone to be dealing with right now, because none of us have dealt with something like this before. And on top of that, right now, specifically, we're in this, racial justice movement. There's this whole new wave. And so that's, on top of being in a pandemic, that's a new level of a stressor or a worry or a new situation for our minds to cope with. So there's a lot happening right now in the whole mental area for everyone. And it's really cool to be around a group of people such as you guys that's interested in working towards preserving our mental health and talking about our mental health well-being. So I won't take up too much of you guys' time because I believe that y'all are, all here for doing this important work. I'll be pretty casual. I don't have like a fancy presentation or anything. I just want to talk with you guys and kind of make it discussion based too, if that's cool with y'all. And of course, we'll share some tips too. But if it's cool with you guys, I would love to do just a little bit of a deep breathing or a box breathing activity before we get started. Would you guys be cool with something like that for just a little bit? Yeah. Hopefully my dog will be still. That's what that shaking is his collar. Hopefully it won't distract us too much. So what box breathing is very simple. It's just a really quick breathing activity that any of us can do anytime, anywhere, any place. The cool part about the box breathing activity is that you don't need any tools with you. All you need is just what you got, which is just yourself. And it's a good, cool, easy thing for us to do to get our minds back into a steady state. So wherever you are, assuming we're at home, you're gonna sit upright with your shoulders back or just into a comfortable position. You can sit crisscross if that's more comfortable for you. Sometimes I like to sit crisscross, or you can sit with your feet flat on the ground, whatever it takes for you to feel grounded and stable. So we're gonna place one hand over our heart, another hand over your belly, if you can. And the purpose of putting our hand over our heart is it's the thing that helps us stay grounded. So as long as we can feel the rise and fall in our chest or hear or feel our heart beating, this is gonna be the thing that keeps our mind coming back to a steady state whenever we do start to wander, because that's what our brains do, right? They think about all these ideas. So hand on your chest, another hand on your tummy. You're just gonna breathe in through your nose and hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale it out through your mouth and hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in again through your nose Get in as much air as you can. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale it out through your mouth. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again. Get as much air as you can through your nose. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale it out. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, breathe in through your nose. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out through your mouth. Heavy as you can. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Very good. Everybody come back where you are. Shake a little bit. Open your eyes if you close them. How'd y'all feel doing something like that? That was just a really, really quick little snippet. How'd y'all feel about doing a little activity like that?
I think deep breathing never hurts nobody.
Yeah. I agree. Well, for some people, they think breathing, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you're going to do. Like, but we're breathing all the time. Yeah, but none of us are actually stopping to slow down and pay attention to it enough for it to be something that can relax us. So in the midst of this whole pandemic, finding one small thing that we can do to be our grounding technique, such as breathing, can be something that kind of help us all stay centered. So thank y'all for doing that with me. So let's dive in. How have you guys been feeling through all this? Or what are some of the feelings or emotions that you've been experiencing?
A little anxiety from my perspective, a little just fear of the unknown of what's, we don't really know what's coming next.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
a huge unknown.
For me, it's
Sorry.
probably just getting a little bit tired of going through social media and like getting in a cycle of seeing the same stuff over and over again.
Yes. Social media can be our friend in social isolation, and ooh, it can be our enemy at the same time too. Definitely, Hannah. Anybody else? Well, however you're feeling right now is totally valid. You know, a lot of us may have been feeling anxious or feeling anxiety. A lot of us maybe fear. Maybe you're feeling a lot more afraid than normal. Maybe you have more more family members that are at risk, or friends that are at risk. So maybe like that can be something that's a huge fear in the back of your mind, maybe more panic. You know, some people may be feeling uncertainty, dealing with like loss of their jobs or loss of income. You know, some people are simply afraid of going outside, or maybe they're like, you know, coping skill, their self-care has been taken away. I know personally for me, I'm an extrovert, but I'm mostly an introvert. And so like for me, my self-care, my coping was going on long walks outside with my dog. That was how I kind of got my space away from people after, you know, like being around people all day, or, you know, standing and talking all day. But now, you know, I live in a very fairly walkable neighborhood area in Birmingham, and everybody is outside walking their dog. So, you know, my coping skill of normally getting away from people walking my dog was, you know, no longer the thing I could do. So, you know, for a lot of people, our coping skills or our sense of routine has been taken away. So it's been hard to figure out just exactly how we're supposed to feel. So any way that you're feeling right now is totally normal. It's totally valid. No one has lived through something like this to this extent before. You know, 2020 kind of threw us for an entire loop, and we're only six or 7 months in. So, you know, there's no wrong or right way to feel. So some stress is actually pretty useful. You know, it's good to have to an extent. You know, us having a little bit of stress is what keeps us aware. So this is what's making us wash our hands more, this is what's making us, you know, want to pay attention to the news or make sure that we're socially distancing ourselves. So a little bit of stress, a little bit of concern is good, but when there's too much of that stress where, you know, now you're dealing with loneliness, now your coping skills taken away, maybe you're worried about finances, you know, or maybe you've been dealing with so much anxiety or stress from this same situation for so long, you know, that's not the best for us. It's not a really healthy position for, you know, our minds or our brains to be engaged in. So, you know, it is important for us to have these regular conversations about what are some things that we can do. So we talk about self-care all the time. We understand self-care is important. But in a situation like this is literally the time for why we're all pushing for self-care and, you know, preserving your mental well-being, because we've never had to be through something like this before. So, you know, it can be a huge traumatic experience for some people. So one of the probably most important things I think it is to do in the midst of a situation like this where we have such a lack of control is noticing some small things that we do have some control over, whether it be something as small as like what you buy for groceries, or whether it be something as small as, you know, what routine you plan to do in your everyday, or whether it be something as small as what friend you decide to spend FaceTime with or hang out with. But whatever small things you do have control over, hold on to those things. Make a list of it if you can. This is going to be the thing that's going to help us stay grounded and find some sense of ease while we're going through, you know, so much chaos and having trouble finding that stability. That list of things can be our go-to. Okay, right now everything else may seem like it's out of control, but this list right here are things that I can be, you know, taking care of, a list of things that I can tackle just for me. Hannah, you made a great point earlier talking about social media. One of the most important things that we need to do right now is limit how much news we're watching, or how much, you know, news we're, you know, reading about, or, you know, how much social media we're consuming, you know, because that's only going to stress us out. You know, it's good to make sure that we're still in the know of just exactly, okay, what do we need to do to stay safe, to take care of our family members, our loved ones. So, you know, pick one or two reliable resources, you know, CDC, you know, UEB Medicine has really good regular updates, and just, you know, check it once a day, once or twice a day. Set a time where, okay, I'm gonna, you know, look at news once or twice a day, but by, you know, 7 p.m., by 8 p.m., my phone is down. I'm not looking at anything else. So giving yourself a time limit to how much screen time you're gonna have is really gonna be like the best thing for our mental health and for our mental stability. If we're constantly reading so many things that are changing around us, then, you know, it's going to be hard for our brains to feel comfortable enough to find some stability and routine. I know I've personally had to start committing to, you know, taking breaks off of social media for like a couple of days, or, you know, a couple of hours a day, because it was literally starting to get to me. You know, first it was all the stuff about the pandemic, and then it was about things opening up, and then it was reading, you know, how much of a divide like our nation started to you know, come to from the whole, you know, open business, closing business, you know what I mean? And then we have the whole racial justice movement, and seeing another divide from, you know, social media, on top of being afraid to go outside. So, you know, I've had to tell myself, if I want to be able to be beneficial and to be supportive and to, you know, learn more about this, I've got to commit to tuning out and turning off for a little bit and tuning in with myself, you know, doing some of that box breathing in the time where you would usually scroll through Instagram instead, you know, something small to kind of like limit just exactly how much of that online time that we're dedicating ourselves to. Do you guys have any reliable resources that y'all are using right now that you're getting your information from?
We've been using different websites from the UAB Student Counseling Services on like our link tree in our social media.
Yeah, good. That's good to have. That's good to have. And, you know, if you don't know, check in with one of your friends and have that good resource too, and let that be your one thing, you know, and okay, take a break. Another healthy, great tip would be for us to create a routine and try the best that we can to stick to that routine. there's a lot of pressure from people saying, these are the things that you need to do in your day, you know, and it can kind of make you feel like you're not doing enough. So the point of making a routine is not to compare our routines with everybody else's, right? We're all unique beings. What works for some person may not work for somebody else, and that is a-okay. But having some kind of routine can be the thing that we need to keep us going, to keep us staying motivated, and to help us with our mental stability. I mean, if it was up to me, y'all, if I could stay on my couch all day long with my dog just in my arms, I would do it. I know I would do it. And, you know, that is, you know, where a lot of us feel safe right now. And it's okay to schedule some time like that. You know what? Today is a curl on my couch with my dog, you know, day, and that's okay. But have some kind of, you know, routine or thing that you do, whether it's just waking up around the same time and going to bed around the same time. You know, we're creatures of habits. You know, we're social creatures, but we're also creatures that do really well with some kind of routine. So, you know, as much as it may seem easy to stay up late because we, you know, don't have school the next day or whatever it may be, you know, it's important for us to still make sure that we're sleeping and that we're waking up at the same time and having something to do to fulfill our day. So having something else to do in that time to fill your routine, something such as get engaged in a new hobby or a new skill. Like I told you guys, you know, my coping skill, the thing I did was going on walks with my dogs, right? I can't necessarily do that anymore. I can do it, but then I'm gonna have to see everybody else. I'm gonna have to wear my mask and, you know, I gotta look weird. So I've had to come up with something else new for me to do. So there's so many other new skills that we can try right now. Something I've really gotten into is planting. And friends will tell you, I can't keep any kind of plant alive for longer than about, you know, 2 minutes. But I committed to making sure that I pay attention to, you know, growing plants and watering them regularly, and watching them grow in a way was therapeutic for me. And there are other things we can do. Some people are like taking courses online. I think like Harvard or Berkeley that have like free courses that you can just like, yeah, you can just like sign up for and just like learn a new skill, learn a new language. You know, I've had some friends that have started getting into cooking. I bought a cast iron skillet, y'all. I've been trying. I only burnt the house down like once. But getting into some new routine, some new hobby can be something really good, really beneficial for our minds, to feel as if there's something to occupy our day. So we're not just kind of lounging around. We have something to be looking forward to. Another healthy tip is to engage in some kind of physical activity or some kind of exercise. I get really hesitant to just say exercise because people automatically think of, you got to go to a gym, you got to, you know, be doing all this. Literally, all I mean is by being engaged in some kind of physical movement. This can be stretching, this can be yoga, this can be, you know, going for walks. This can be doing a virtual dance party with your friends, you know, on Zoom, or this can be, you know, dancing in your living room, whatever it takes, but have some time dedicated to getting your body moving, and being as physical as much as you can, because this is going to release some of those feel-good endorphins. It's going to help us feel like, okay, we can keep going, we can keep trucking, even when we may not necessarily feel the most comfortable. We're dealing with more anxiety than normal. So whatever it takes for us to stay moving is the best thing for us to do. Another really good step is to stay in touch with your friends and family. This is real crucial. It can be really easy to just kind of dig ourselves into our fear and our anxiety and cut ourselves off from people. But this is really the time for us to really dig in and pour into each other. Check in with your friends, check in with your family. You know, plan some of those FaceTime dates or Zooms, or what's the other, house party, right? Get on those with your friends. You know, play some games together, because this is going to be the one thing that helps us build each other up. In a time where we're like having to socially distance and social isolate, this is literally the time where we need each other the most. So we've got to make that possible in any possible way that we can. Another important part of having some kind of routine is it can help us schedule that time to spend with our friends and our loved ones. We're creatures of habit, but we're also very social creatures. You know, we weren't made to be dealing with all these situations, you know, completely on our own. So having someone to talk to regularly is, you know, always an important thing to do. eat healthy, sleep well. Sorry, my dog. Eat healthy, sleep well, making sure that we're still eating regular meals. When you do start to feel that sense of anxiety, doing a quick breathing exercise so that you don't feel like you need to indulge into, oh, okay, I'm feeling worried, I'm gonna go eat 5 more donuts, even though sometimes you gotta have 5 or 6 donuts. I hear you. But, you know, doing something like that regularly, or resorting to, like, you know, oh, now I'm just gonna start drinking a little bit more because I'm at home and it doesn't matter. We start digging into some of these more these coping skills that may have a more negative outcome, it might start affecting us in the long run. So trying to still maintain a routine of eating well, sleeping regularly, it's probably one of the best things to do. And last but not least, but probably one of the most important tips is, you know, talk it out. You know, let someone know what's going on. Reach out. You know, it's really easy for us to kind of get trapped into wanting to act like we're a-okay when we're talking to our friends or our family members. You know, so when they ask how you're doing, first thing we want to say is, I'm fine, I'm good, everything's okay. So sometimes it's helpful to have someone to talk to, such as a therapist. I know a lot of therapists are doing like telehealth sessions now, or telemedicine. You can also, shameless plug, call the crisis line. The crisis line 24/7, literally, it's, you know, crisis volunteers that are trained. They're working remotely. So we are still here 24/7. It's important to have some kind of outlet where you can feel completely walls down, completely judgment free, and to say exactly what's going on without that fear of needing to put on for somebody else that you know. So that's the whole reason why our hotline exists, so someone can have someone to talk to in those random times of the night where you can't sleep, or when you're feeling so stricken with that anxiety or that hypervigilance that we all may be feeling right now. So there are a lot of great resources I know that you guys have, like the UAB Student Counseling Service and the UAB Community Counseling Clinic. Are they still seeing people too? I believe, right? Yeah, which is really cool. I think they have like a really good, they charge like really, really low, so you don't have to worry about having insurance. And if you were looking for resources for a counselor, you can also call the crisis line, and we'd be happy to look up some resources, some counseling resources for you as well, where you don't have to have insurance. There's a lot of, you know, pressure to feel like we need to be okay right now, because we're scrolling through social media and we see someone's quick tips on how to stay well, you know, and we start thinking, well, I'm not doing enough, or, you know, I'm not, you know, doing my part. How can so-and-so be like this right now, but I'm feeling anxious? Well, one, so-and-so is probably lying, one, right? And, you know, two, we're not all the same people. Literally, all of us are different. So, you know, don't put that pressure on yourself to put on a weight and act like everything's fine. You know, if you're not, take those breaks for yourself. Check out from social media, check in with yourself, right? Ask some of those hard-hitting questions. What do I need to take care of me? Because if we're not asking those hard-hitting questions for ourselves, you know, how are we going to be, you know, the person that can be there to give those supportive services for our friends, if that's something that we're really interested in? So, you know, we've got to pay more attention so we can take care of just exactly what we need to keep getting through all of this, you know. We're better together, but we're better together once we're being honest with who we are and what we're really feeling. So if you need someone to talk to, Crisis Line is always here. I'm wearing a t-shirt. And so we have several other programs as well. There's the Crisis Line, which is 24/7. There's our U-Talk line, which is 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. right now, just call and text enabled, which is specifically for kids and teens to call and talk to a peer crisis counselor. We have the Rape Response Hotline, Insane, which is a hotline for sexual assault survivors. And we also still have SANE running, which is our sexual assault nurse exam facility, where a survivor was assaulted, they can come into the crisis center and we'll get them some supportive services. Of course, everything's free of charge. We have the Recovery Resource Center, which is our program to assist those struggling with substance misuse. You get paired with a peer support specialist, which is someone in long-term recovery themselves who gets it, who understands it. And they work with the client every step of the way while they're, you know, working towards finding recovery skills towards their treatment. We have, what else? The Senior Talk Line, which is a hotline specifically for seniors and caregivers to have someone to talk to. Volunteers make outgoing calls and they, you know, talk to the seniors about anything they want, what's going on in the world, how they're doing, how they're feeling. So, you know, we also have One Place, which is One Place Family Justice Center, which is our collaboration of initiatives to provide supportive services for survivors and survivors of domestic violence. So, you know, we are committed to being here to be available for whatever kind of service someone needs when they are in crisis. Even if it is just someone to talk to, always give us a call. We're literally a call away and we're here to listen. So that's the Crisis Center. Do y'all have any questions about anything? I know I kind of went on a long little rant there.
I was going to say we were talking about screen time and everything, and I don't know who has iPhones, but they have the setting where you can actually go in and say, like, only let me get on these apps, you know, between this hour, or, you know, don't let me spend more than 2 hours total on these apps. And I've had to use that before when I've been more isolating personally. And so that has been very helpful of like getting out of a spiral of just being in bed and being on, you know, Instagram and everything like that.
Yeah, I bet that was a wake-up call. Like mine gives me notifications on, you know, how much
Been
screen
on your
time you've
phone
had
for
during the
10
week.
hours.
I was like, okay. Like, okay, I get it. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know you are a very busy woman, so we're very thankful that you made time in your day for us. We've been doing a whole little Mental Health Monday where we just hear from different people on campus or in the community who offer some sort of mental health services. So we had, you know, disability support services talk about what they can do for mental health, and we had student counseling services, and so we're just trying to get in as many resources as possible when people will be needing them right now. So we're very thankful that you were able to join us.
Well, thank you. Again, I love what y'all are doing. Seriously, if I can hop on anytime, just let me know.